Basically, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis about 3 years ago. I was suddenly okay. I went to bed at night, and the following day I woke up 6 o'clock in the morning. I remember very well, and as I tried to get up, I actually fell to the ground.
Okay, let's take a look at what home's like.
Ample space in the living room, ample space in the kitchen so I can move about there as well. The bathroom is also adapted as well. Here's the bathroom.
So obviously you have to have your light.
Yeah, the light is lowered.
A lot lower.
So I don't have to be reaching up high to actually turn the light on.
Yeah.
The bathroom, mind the mess, but is actually adapted. You have a rail up here where I can fit a hoist, and here there's a chair which is placed here so I can actually have a shower. It's like a wet room because everything filters through the drainage area there.
Right.
The toilet is adapted with the bars.
The handle so that you can push yourself onto the loo, yeah.
That's right. So yeah, it's pretty much adapted and quite really easy to get about within my own home, which, you know, that is the brilliant part. It's when I go outside my house is where I start having the challenges.
Right, so the kitchen, again, I think what I'm gathering is that all the furniture is very much pushed around the walls.
That's right. That's
to
right.
leave you as much room to turn.
Yeah.
And have that mobility, that space you need in the centre of every room.
I actually, I love the kitchen. This is my second most used area because I do all the cooking. So, you know, people with disabilities can carry on doing things, and I love cooking. I've had that passion since I was a little boy. And so I do all the cooking in the family. There are days if I over push myself. There are days that I become so run down, you know, I'm housebound for maybe 2 or 3 days. We've got intolerances to heat and the cold as well. You know, so there's situations with my illness which, you know, are quite hard and difficult to move forward. However, if you give up, you know, you're just defeating the fact that, you know, you've got a life out there, you know, and so it's, you know, it's all easy, well and done to say, you know, don't give up. It's hard to do that, but you know, you've got to put all your energy and motives into it, and you know, and enjoy life, you know. So I decided, what can I do? You know, what could keep my mind off the issues that I'm suffering at the moment, and one of them is cooking. And the other one is photography. So, you know, these are things that I can do. And, you know, I also became a committee member with the Multiple Sclerosis Society. And there's challenges that I want to do there as well. Hopefully, towards the end of the year that I managed to do a round the rock wheelchair pull, which would raise money and awareness for charity as well. Got a ramp and everything to the car. I can show how it's operated.
Oh, wow.
Remote control. The boot opens up and then the ramp comes down. And here, basically, I will go up the ramp, and you've got certain gadgets here which secures the wheelchair, and in the front there you've got seat belts and everything else, because this car has 3 seats: the driver's seat, front passenger seat, and here's where my daughter normally sits down. But if I wanted to have one more person, they can use the wheelchair as an extra seat, where you've got all,
strapped in.
and you've got all the seat belts there. I feel that people should leave their cars at home and you know, walk to work or walk to town or and so on, because and also we've got a very good bus system where, you know, we've got free buses. Yep.
Seeing as we're going to be green and not take the car.
Yeah. We have a very big and large tourist industry, which many people from across the border and many people who come on cruise liners, which are also suffering from disabilities and needing mobility scooters or wheelchairs. Yeah. So Gibraltar does need to be at the forefront, catering for the disability. Access for all is the 100% aim that I would like to see in Gibraltar. And this access is basically for everyone. This is access for all. This is ideal. This is what I would like to see in the whole of Gibraltar. All the private sector, all the small businesses, you know, dealing with this issue. And if they've got a large step, a high step, it doesn't take much to do a ramp.
It's a very simple thing to do, and you're absolutely right, as long as it's...
Yeah, and the ramp is not actually outside,
yes,
being a trip hazard.
Yes.
So the ramp starts from the door inwards. So this is the ideal ramp that you would need to put if you want to cater for mobility issues.
Good to know.
My first challenge of the day, if I wanted to pay the electric bills. Down here, yep, and then proceed to, this is the only one place where you pay your electric and your water bills. Now you can pay online, but you know, if you don't have a bank account like myself, you know, you've got no other choices. You've got to come here to pay your bills. Basically, they should take this into account. And instead of charging the people electricity bills and water bills, do something for the people. You know, it's not going to cost a lot of money to actually build a ramp starting from over there, yeah, and gradually inclining, and then that way, and coming this way. You know, yeah, doesn't take much. In the end of the day, they make millions and millions and millions of pounds on selling water and electricity. And this is basically inconsiderate towards people with disability, the elderly, and mothers with prams and everything else.
It's a school area, there's lots of mothers here.
And this is a school area. I mean, why have two motorcycles and more motorcycles there right on the pavement? They're not even fined. Okay, this is where my daughter Amy goes to school, and when the headmistress found out that I had a disability and was in a wheelchair, so they actually got JBS to build the ramp, which they did solely for me, which basically if any other person now who's disabled will be able to go inside the school. So now I have to go onto the road with vehicles coming in this direction, so it's dangerous and there's no access for me there, so this is something that I have to do on a daily basis. So here we go, we're on the road. No way I can go there. There's a mini bus there.
Yeah, there's a bus coming up now.
Yep.
negotiate this one.
I'll tell him to slow down. I'll move to the side. Sometimes they give way, but I would say because the camera's on. So here we go. Hang on. Well and good to go up a hill like that, but having to stop and start again on a steep hill, that actually uses more strength. So I would prefer to go up the other way.
So it's illogical then that a place like this, where we're dealing with pensions and old people, benefits and disability, women who are pregnant and child disability, should be located in such a difficult area. This, thumbs down, has to move.
Well, if they move the place, it will make a better difference to many people.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you have to remember that every elderly person has to come and get their pensions here. So,
right.
So this is an area where it's vital.
Okay.
And so if they could change the area to a more suitable area, it
would
will
work.
improve. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they have to do.
Access for all should be just that.
Yeah.
Access everywhere. So,
This lady's making way for you.
so yeah, we've got to be good to each other.
Indicator on.
So yeah, this doesn't help. This doesn't help. So there's still vehicles which actually come through in the afternoon, especially the OSG, because they've got to do the bank runs and everything else. But I'd say the only way out of that one would be to allow them to do that in Irish Town, but not in Main Street, unless it's an ambulance or something like that, because it does create an issue, especially when you've got all these shoppers about. So this is very dangerous. This has to change. This has to change.
This is no good.
And but this is a crossing in the heart of Main Street where many people has to negotiate in every single direction. So we also have over here, we've got a disabled toilet and public toilets round the back. Well, it's very difficult to turn around.
Oh yeah, you keep hitting the toilet.
And I can, but it should be
a little wider would help.
Wider will help, and the entrance should be a different type of door, not this type of door in such a small confined area. I think the biggest problem with the new buses is that the ramps are not working.
Right.
And if we go on a bus, the elderly might have, there are steps within the bus, and they're quite high steps, and I've even seen the elderly have problems, you know, negotiating the steps on the bus. That is completely full.
Better.
Well, first of all, the ramp's got to be working.
Right, don't worry. We'll wait for the next one.
So this is one of the issues. If
Prime
the
example.
If the bus is overcrowded, this is what you're going to get. And you've got mothers with prams, you've got the elderly, they might have Zimmer frames or whatever. And then if you get somebody in a wheelchair like myself, you've noticed that I cannot take the bus because it's overcrowded. So we have to wait for a bus to come, which is not so overcrowded, to be able to use public transport.
Right.
There might be a service, maybe St. Martin's School has a bus running for them who's got the ramp and everything else. I know that the Gibraltar Multiple Sclerosis Oxygen Therapy Centre, they have their own van with the adapted wheelchair ramp, and they collect patients from the hospital to have like sessions of oxygen. Oxygen. So they've got their van adapted, but basically taxis who's got like just for wheelchair users, no.
Do you go to Morrison's?
I didn't know it existed. Now let's see if the ramp works. Seems to me it doesn't. Well, this is what I've got to do. I've got to... So the problem with the new buses that I've noticed, being the third time that I've actually used public transport, is that the ramps are not working. And I've noticed the elderly people also have problems trying to negotiate the steps here behind me, which are quite narrow and quite steep. Yeah. So these are the two major issues that I've found when using public transport. They're very, very new buses, and being such new the way they are, how come the ramps are not working? So I think that one of the issues is that they should have maintenance and made sure that the ramps are working, not just because of wheelchair access, but mothers with prams and so on. Get off of this one.
No,
Yo sé lo que estoy haciendo.
tú sabes lo que estoy haciendo, yo también. Suéltala aquí, está en buenas manos.
Sí, pero me voy para atrás, me voy para atrás.
No te preocupes.
Si yo tengo experiencia de esto, es mejor que me salgo. Si no, yo estoy viendo un dilema.
No, una dilema no, mira, eso es lo que habría hecho yo. Y fuera.
Ya, pero con mi peso es diferente.
Lo siento mucho, ¿eh?
Venga,
Lo siento mucho, pero bueno.
venga, muchas
No me
gracias.
sale esto, no.
Si lo arreglan esto, sería
No,
fantástico.
lo están arreglando.
Vale, vale. Muchas gracias, ¿eh? And just imagine many other days, other people having a problem with this issue. The good thing is that I've got good, strong arm power, and I can lift myself onto the bus while somebody else has to help me put the wheelchair on the bus. Now, remember you asked me the question, do I find myself frustrated because I've had to ask for help for other people? Well, this is one of the cases.
Yeah.
Now it could be avoided. If the ramps are working, nobody needs to be helping me.
Yeah.
Now the issue is that I've not only just got a disability, but the bus was packed. People are looking at me, and they're looking at my situation
Yes.
of trying to get on the bus.
Which is humiliating
And
to a
it's
degree.
very humiliating.
Yeah.
And it's a problem where this could be avoided, you know, and if every single brand new bus has an issue with the ramps, well,
That's going to be an issue every day.
and they're brand new buses.
Yeah.
You know, should they have this problem?
What I can see from living from your eyes, seeing things from your eyes, is that Gibraltar has come along leaps and bounds. God help those poor people that lived in Gibraltar before with disabilities. It's a lot easier for you now, in all fairness. But yes, you're absolutely right, Trevor. There is still a long, long way to go.
There's
It's
a
the
long
little
way to go.
details, the little
The
details.
little details. And it's the small details which could actually be massive bounds and leaps, which will create massive problems to people like myself.
Making your
you know?
life easier.
And it's so small, so
Yeah.
small. The issue could be solved overnight. people who are able and they take their cars just to go from A to B, might be 1,000 meters.
Yeah.
You're telling me they can't walk to town? And I've actually bench pressed my way to town. This little part here is how not to build a ramp.
Right.
Okay, so if anybody like government departments are watching this, they think they've built this ramp so friendly for people like me, they're mistaken, because that is a super ramp. It's very steep.
A super ramp.
And so I'm going to show you how difficult it is to get up this ramp.
Okay.
Let's go. I've struggled with this one, and I can guarantee you now, if I sit off the wheelchair and got the wheelchair back in the beginning again, and you sat in the wheelchair and tried this, you will, impossible.
Okay.
You will not be able
Let's
to
do
do
it
it. Do you want to do it?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. This is a challenge.
I won't do it because I'm not going to be able to get up there.
Okay, I'm going to sit myself in the corner. You've got my wheelchair.
Okay.
Brakes are off. Get a tight grip and try it.
¿Lo cogiste? Por favor, manténgalo. That is a perfect example. There's no way.
I'm sorry. Oh,
And I had in my head.
It sounds funny,
No, it's not funny.
but
because
I have to negotiate this every single day.
I had in my head you bashing your head, and that made me push my head forward.
What was the first thing? What could have happened there?
Completely slammed a concussion. Back of
There
the
you
head.
go. And these are people who think
I
that
won't
this
try
is a
again.
ramp.
I
You
won't
know?
try again. That was ridiculous. I have no idea how you manage. Terence,
I know I shouldn't have been laughing there,
Trevor, rather.
but the good thing about it is, it's made a point. That's right.
This is your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've opened my eyes. It's been absolutely fascinating.
And it's very sweating as well.
And it's a lot of hot and hard work.
Yeah, yeah,
It's been a pleasure.
yeah.
It's been an absolute
I
pleasure.
hope you didn't hurt yourself there.
No, I didn't. And anyway, it was worth it. Lesson learnt.
Lesson learned.
Unless you live it, you can't really know, can you?
You can't know. You
Yeah.
can't know. And that could happen anywhere in Gibraltar. The first ramp when we passed by the Trafalgar Sports Bar,
Yeah.
that could happen to me there.
Okay.
You know, not just on this ramp. I mean, we all know that Gibraltar's full of hills, but I think we've got to understand how hard it is for us to get about from A to B, and then when there shouldn't be hindrances, there are.
So to summarise, from looking at it from your point of view, you'd say, agree with me that Gibraltar has come a long way in raising awareness and trying to make things easier for you, but has still a long way to go.
Well, I think there's awareness out there, but not a lot of it. So more awareness should be made available to not just like people like myself, but to the whole general public, and basically highlighting the points where it becomes a hindrance and rectifying, because in the end of the day, many of the hindrances are very small things.
Yeah.
And so Gibraltar has come a long way. I mean, we've got things which are good about Gibraltar. We've got disabled access on the beaches in every single beach, you know, and you know things are getting better.
Yeah.
However, we're still a long way to go.
Well, I wish you the best. You carry on fighting for your cause.
Well, I hope so too. I hope it changes hearts and minds. So, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.